Our time on Heron Island, which is right on the Great Barrier Reef. Heron Island is unique for a couple of reasons. One, it is not born of volcanic activity. It's actually born from the reef itself. I believe there's 200 or 300 of these types of, they call them sandy cays or coral cays, up and down the reef. And what happens is that in a calm part of the reef, dead coral and sand collects and builds up and gets above the water. Vegetation takes hold, birds start coming and seeds start falling from the birds and the bird droppings, and all of a sudden over many years you have this small little island. To give you an idea of how small this is, we can walk the circumference of this island in about 20 to 30 minutes. The other unique thing about this island is that it is a national park, and it houses the largest research facility of any place up and down the Great Barrier Reef. We happen to be in the southern section of the Great Barrier Reef. Australia broke it up into 4 different management sections. We're in the southern section, which is the largest section of the Great Barrier Reef management, and that's where we are. Heron Island, also what makes it so unique is right now there are 120,000 nesting birds that you can find here of all varieties, and we'll get to that in the vlog a little bit later. The other aspect are the turtles. We've learned so far this season, there have been 1,600 nests and counting. About 100 turtles a night come and nest, and we have seen things we probably thought we'd never see in our lifetime, from mother turtles coming up and laying eggs to the hatchlings erupting from their nest, and literally 75, 100 turtles marching down to the sea. It's been an incredible experience. I don't know if we can capture that all in our short little video, but we're sure going to try, and we hope you enjoy it.
So one of the reasons we wanted to stay on Heron Island is because it's situated on the southern point of the Great Barrier Reef. And if I remember right, it's actually the only island you can stay on that's on the Great Barrier Reef. And so they're supposed to have great snorkeling here. And we've gone out a few times, and I'm already pretty impressed by what we've seen. We've seen an eel, a really pretty black and white one, but I'm not sure what species it was. And then we've seen lots of rays. We've seen shovel-nosed rays, all the way from little itty-bitty baby shovel-noses to really big pretty ones. And those are something I've never seen before, so those were pretty cool. We've also seen some cowtail rays. Those are pretty funny. I kind of like those ones because they just sit in the sand as you go by, and they just kind of stare at you and kind of give you an eagle eye, and they don't really move unless you get too close, and they're just generally kind of funny. We've also seen some really pretty eagle rays. Sometimes if you're like up on the boardwalk, you can just see them. You can look down and you can see them because their fins come out of the water when they're close to the surface. And we've also seen one really big, really beautiful reef manta ray, and it just looked like he was flying in the water. It was so beautiful. We've also seen some sharks here. We've only seen black tips. There are quite a few of them here, little bitty baby ones and big ones farther out on the reef. But other people have said they've seen lemon sharks and some other ones, but we've just seen the black tips. But those are still just so pretty. We've also seen some of the biggest parrotfish, I think, ever. They are really, really big and so colorful. And it's really fun when you're in the water with them because you can hear them just chomping on the coral. You can almost hear them before you even see them. So those are just some of the things we've seen on the Great Barrier Reef, and we're gonna head back out here pretty soon and go for another run and see if we can find anything else.
under a Passonia tree on Heron Island, and Passonia trees are very prevalent here, especially in the foresty part of Heron Island, because this is where the fresh water sort of gathers after rain. Because there are so many Passonia trees, there are also lots and lots of white-capped black noddy birds. The white-capped black noddy birds are the most prevalent bird here on the island. In fact, right now is their breeding season, and I've read that there are about 200,000 birds here right now on the island, and of those 200,000 birds, 120,000 of them are the white-capped black noddy birds. So I'll show you one of them, which is right up here, and you'll notice that it's sitting next to a nest. That nest is actually made out of the Passonia leaves. So the black noddy bird and the Passonia trees have a great symbiotic relationship. The black noddy bird uses its leaves for its nest, and it cements the nest together with its poop. But also, there are so many black noddy birds nesting in the trees that the poop falls to the ground and nourishes the trees as well. Now, if for some reason the Passonia trees aren't getting enough nourishment, for example, not enough water or not enough nourishment or nutrients from the bird's poop, then they will produce sticky seeds. This is just one sticky seed, and what happens is they'll produce these seeds will fall to the ground, and the black noddy birds will get stuck in them, they'll die, and then the Passonia trees will get the nutrients they need. Someone referred to the Passonia tree as a carnivorous tree for this reason. So anyway, it's just super interesting. I don't know if you can hear, but it's so loud in the forest, and really on the entire island. We had to get used to it, just the noise, because there are literally hundreds of thousands of birds here. So anyway, amongst the other birds that are here, there are, as I mentioned, the black noddy birds, but there are other terns as well. There are crested terns, black crested terns, which come in. They aren't actual residents. They come and they rest, but they'll rest in flocks sort of on the rocks before they fly on to the next destination. There are also a couple of different egrets. There's a gray egret as well as a white egret, and we learned that they actually will mate together. And when they mate together, they'll produce a gray little baby as well as a white little baby. So those are very interesting. And another interesting fact about those is that when people first came to Heron Island and they were sort of off the shore looking on, they saw the egrets and they thought, oh look at the beautiful herons. And so that's why Heron Island got its name Heron Island. And then later they realized that those weren't herons at all, they were egrets. They thought about changing the name of the island to Egret Island, but decided to keep it as Heron Island because they thought Heron Island sounded better. So that's super interesting. Another popular bird here on the island is the shearwater. It's a type of mutton bird, and interestingly, they burrow into the ground. So I'm sitting right next to a shearwater burrow, and I think it's a pretty recent one because you can see that there's a lot of fresh sand sort of sprayed out of here. The mutton bird, shearwater is a kind of mutton bird, they have really big webbed feet, so they will come into their burrow and they will dig the sand out, and they will actually burrow into the ground about 6 feet or 2 meters. And it's thought that they actually will come back and use the same burrow year after year, which is pretty amazing. So another interesting fact about the mutton bird is that at night, when they come back after hunting all day at sea, they make this really eerie, almost ghost-like sound. And they do that to find one another, because the male and female, they will mate for life, and they always want to find each other after a long day or two of hunting, and they'll come back and find one another in their burrows. So another interesting bird we've also seen here on the island are white-breasted sea eagles. So the sea eagles have these really big talons, and they have a wingspan of about 2 meters for the females, I think, and about 1.8 meters for the males. And I think everyone is really happy to have them here. It's pretty rare. It's just this one couple that is mating and breeding here and living here, but they will eat seagulls. So that's probably the only thing here on the island that will eat seagulls. So I think they're really glad to have them here for that reason. But the white-breasted sea eagles will eat just about anything they can get their talons on. So as you can see, Heron Island is a great haven for all kinds of different birds.
found a cone snail shell. So the cone snails, this one is actually empty. It has a crab in it right now and it's kind of broken. But it is a real cone snail shell, and it was at one time inhabited by a cone snail, which are, they are very, depending on the type, they can either kill you or they can, paralyze you and just be generally poisonous. And when we first got to the island, there were lots of warnings and, pamphlets and everything about telling you not to pick them up because if you pick them up, they get mad, and they have a harpoon that can be up to the size of their shell length. And if they get angry, they will shoot it out at you. And then again, depending on what type it is, it could paralyze you or kill you, or, they're just generally poisonous. So stay away from cone snails on the Great Barrier Reef.
So during our time here on Heron Island, every night so far we've seen turtles make their way, baby turtles make their way all the way down to the water from their nest. And this is what a turtle nest looks like at the very beginning. And we had an eruption yesterday that we saw that was just incredible, where 50, 75, maybe even 100 turtles just came out of this nest like it was boiling over. But this is how it starts. And a lot of times you can find these nests by watching the birds, because the birds are looking for these because they're not quite ready to make their way, so they're easy to pick off, unfortunately. So we're sort of here guarding the nest, trying to keep the birds away until these guys are ready to make their way down to the water.
Thank you so much for watching our video of the Great Barrier Reef. We hope you enjoyed it, and we had a great time showing you around the island. If you did like this video, please give us a thumbs up down below and leave us a comment telling us what your favorite thing in the video was. Also, please don't forget to subscribe because we have a lot more awesome videos coming your way. Thank you for watching.